Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all in between. I am your host, V. There's my co host, Jason. How are you, brother?
I'm fantastic, man.
In the house, we have my brother, Glen Wagner.
What's up?
Tales,
Represent.
tales
Rep-
from the barn.
Representing the maiden
Mhm.
Yes.
up the irons.
Can you hear us both okay?
Yeah, I got you.
Right on, right on.
Can you smell what we're stepping in?
Yeah. Ooh, can you smell what I'm... Oh, yeah, when I get my hands up. He's from Downers Grove.
All right.
Well, he must be okay then.
Well, yeah. Well, what's his name? Yeah. What was his name?
His name?
He was with Hulk Hogan all the time. Oh yeah, when I get Macho Man Savage.
Randy.
He lived
Savage.
right next door to our buddy Tex.
Really?
Yes, he did.
One of our lost.
Yeah, and there's a funny story that the people had moved in the house, you know, after his family had moved on.
Right.
You know, they knew that he lived there and stuff. So one day he comes back with Elizabeth and he knocks on the door. And you know, they open it and there's Randy Macho Man Savage.
Awesome.
I'm like, oh my God. It's like Sunday morning at like 9 a.m. or something, you know. And he's like, I don't want to intrude, you know, I used to live here. Oh, we know, blah, blah, blah. Come on in. He's like, I kind of want to see my room. He goes, oh, my son's sleeping. He went to a party last night. It didn't get home till 2.
I know where this is going.
Then he goes, do you want to kick the door down? Oh yeah. So that's how this kid fucking woke up.
Randy Savage
Fucking 9 in the morning. His door gets fucking kicked in and it's Randy Macho Man Savage. Oh yeah, boy.
He must have thought he lost his mind.
Oh, totally. Oh, you know, like, wait, did I take shrooms yesterday?
Right. Right.
The only thing that would have made that better is if he walked over and said, "Hey, did you know about this little panel?" Opens up a panel in the wall or something, pulls out his Playboys or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Been stashing my porn for 28 years.
You ever find that
Right.
ounces of weed I stushed in the attic?
Right? That was one thing I always wanted to do. Like I wanted to do in the barn, I wanted to do like this map on the wall.
Yeah.
Right.
And just be like, you know, 10 steps this way and have people, you know, have it going all over the yard, all over the house, and then come into the barn, and then one section of the panel being gone with like half of an X, you know, on the other panel. So they're like, where's the other half of the map?
Like a treasure hunt or something, right?
Yeah.
The treasure hunt. Did you ever go on those in Fort Lauderdale, Jason? There's a group of us. We did a bunch of like that's what we did.
I remember that. Yeah. You know, I probably did, but my memory's a little.
It was kind of tied in with Todd and those guys, you know.
Yeah.
Where I had to rescue you from the fucking police. You had no wallet, no fucking glasses on your head, all fucking.
Oh, me? Are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, are you talking about the night that I went to 7-Eleven and the cops were like, was that the night?
When I found you wandering down the middle of the street.
Oh,
yeah. Did he have his pants on his head?
You took me to that party. That's when the cop like bashed my brains out that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They like doing that down there, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. Shout out to Lofty, by the way. What's up, brother?
What's up, buddy? Loft House! Woohoo!
It's funny. So I was kind of asking for pictures, you know. I'm like, hey guys, got any? And it's funny because I heard this response a bunch of times, and it was kind of like the code. There were no cameras allowed at the barn.
Oh yeah. No incriminating evidence.
Like, it was only like a special event or at reunions and shit. When we were young, dude, is that a camera? Dude, there's like not that many pictures. Like out of the 250 people that hung around there regularly, not to have it's kind of funny.
A camera. And the only time you were really allowed to take pictures was when I was jumping a car.
Yeah. So, you know, oh yeah, you jump cars. I tried finding the video of the last car jump. I couldn't find it.
Oh no, I thought I sent it to you.
Like, hold on a minute. Hold on. You mean like Dukes of Hazzard jumping a car?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
So what it would be?
Okay, here's what he does to his car for Halloween, just to give you an example.
Oh fuck yeah, man. That's badass. That's totally bad.
Oh yeah, the shout out to Lofty, by the way.
There he is. Yeah.
Lofty. I don't know you, brother, but I know you. If you
Oh,
know.
it's a trade.
Amen.
So I was drinking the good stuff, Miller Lite, most of the week.
You got fancy there for a little bit.
I did. Went back to the cheap stuff, man. It's
Yeah.
inflation.
Dude,
Inflation. you know what I
Bohawks
mean?
don't even drink that shit here.
Well, it's the South, man.
Yeah.
They love natural light down
Usually
here. So,
musicians drinking water, Coors Light.
yeah. Hey, I wish I could afford Coors Light, but this is one step above natural light, which is
Now Coors
accepted
Light
in the
is
South.
good back in the day, especially back in the day when you could. By the way, Levi's jean jacket fits 6 beers in it comfortably.
Well, Smokey and the Bandit,
Yeah, but everyone like bail from the party. Everyone would be, have fucking 6 beers in their.
Why are you walking like a robot?
6 beers, 8 cassettes. We got a Talkin cassette, Scorps,
Yeah.
Iron Maiden. Priest.
Hey, that's Orange County Speedway, Middletown, New York, man. We used to go into concerts back there, and I was like a fucking Navy SEAL, man, jamming beers in every freaking, pocket I had, and fucking, before they frisked you and all that shit.
That's what flannels were for. You put your can of beer in there with a straw.
Yeah, you got up to the front of the stage, and then you're like cracking them,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, security never understood the crazy straw that I always had.
Right.
The barn is a really cool place, man. And so, dude, what was funny is, because people would stroll in and out all day, all night and stuff, and then as it went on, so there's different groups at different levels of what they're hypothetically taking. You know what I mean? And it was
allegedly.
Yeah, because you'd get this span of like 5 or 6 hours where you could just spot someone doing this, that moment. You know what I mean?
I'm going to be picking him up out of the front lawn.
Did the world just leave? Did they just break from reality, or are they going to fucking yak?
Right.
Don't walk in the fire.
Not only that, was like, we had like not just your regular, freaks, or we had jocks, we had frocks, we had everything.
Yeah.
My brother was on the diving team. He'd come home and he'd be like, another fucking party.
Yep.
The barn, it's the shack out back.
Yep.
Yeah, there weren't really a lot of jocks there though. Only Forest friends, because the younger jocks were,
they were scared.
I do have
because they're, it was a different time. There were cliques and all that shit.
Oh yeah,
and there'd
cliques
be
were huge back then.
We'd all go to a party and they wouldn't let us in. Well, fuck those guys. They're not getting in. It'd be me, Lofthouse, Tom Lowenstein, Rob Young, Geffy.
Yeah, freaking
fucking security. You can't come in. But everyone else was welcome.
Right.
If you didn't belong in a group, if you didn't think you belonged at home and this, that, and the other, dude, it was,
Well, you had Mike Raymond stuffing people in garbage cans.
Yeah, but but when you walked in there, you were accepted. No one really fucked.
Yeah.
And we didn't really fuck with people.
We didn't have a barn, but we had Russell Brook Road, man. It was this old country road, and it was just woods, man, and it was like bonfire. Cars pull up, man. Everybody's same shit, man. Doesn't matter. All around the country in those days, man, everybody had their place,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Very well put.
Yeah, and I had an '89 Chevrolet S10 pickup,
Nice.
and I had a Blaupunkt radio in it, and I had 2 6x9 pile driver speakers in the back, but I cut the wire long,
yeah,
and they were in speaker boxes with handles. So like I'd get up to Russell Brook, and I'd pull the speakers out and put them on the roof of the truck. The stereo was amp, and there'd be and start cranking the Maiden or whatever the hell we were listening
and
to.
before that, you would yell out your mating call.
Yeah, all the goats would come running.
Comparison to that, man, I had a 77 Ford Pinto wagon. It was emerald green, and I had these 1955 radio speakers that I took out, and they were like the big woofers, and then I got some Blaupunkt tweeters to put in, and I mounted them to a board, and then I had a Pioneer. What was it? It was a Pioneer 60 amp equalizer, and then I had a 90 amp equalizer on my Pioneer stereo and everything.
Yeah.
And man, I'd put Judas Priest in there, and I'd
Nice.
crank it up, man, and it just sounded right.
Awesome. Yeah.
Nowadays, of course, it sounded like a bad record, but
Yeah,
you know what's funny is
my 70 El Camino, dude. I had Alpine, and then I had the pile drivers like you had in the cab of the El Camino.
Nice,
dude. Talk about fucking loud, and I had an EQ in there, booster,
loud as fuck.
dude. It was the loudest fucking thing.
Dude, after we grew up,
and the only way to listen to Ronnie James Dio's in that fucking car, dude.
But you know what?
That's why he's always sitting there going, "What?
Yeah, definitely. But you know, I got thinking about it. Like after like our generation, did like Blaupunk go out of business? I mean, like they were like that was like the, No,
I think they merged with somebody. I don't know, Sony or what, but
someone bought them out or some kind
of something.
I mean, stereos were the shit back in the day, man. It was all about like getting like Crutchfield, like I used to order shit from Crutchfield and get amps and
I remember that.
Fucking right, man.
Heck yeah. I would get my my Northern Tools and my Crutchfield on the same.
Yeah,
the catalog was awesome.
Hell yeah, I think Crutchfield's still going too.
I think so. Yeah, I believe so.
I remember getting my graduation money. And like I went to the nearest store and I bought this like, this Pioneer system. It was like remember like the rack system. It had like the shelves. You had the cassette, CD. And then
layers.
And then I got like the big 100-watt speakers. Man, I was like,
I've got my dad's Pioneer component system from like 1978, 79.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, it cranks.
Oh, dude, yeah, my shit was so loud. Damn, it was loud.
My roommate wants to get something where it'll take 8-track and where you play it through a cassette, where you get the adapter that does a CD that does all the way to your phone. I mean, he wants to get all this linked up. I don't know how it would work, but
hey, God bless. I hope it works, man. Awesome.
I know. I see something catching on fire. I don't know why.
Right. Okay, so the barn.
The barn
is a place that if you didn't have anywhere to go, and this is the time of latchkey kids,
Yeah.
So, dude, no one's parents were home, and they'd all fucking hang out, ditch school, whatever, go to the barn. Glen would be in there making a model behind his throne desk.
Dude, I had the desk all covered with models.
Like car models?
Car models. Yeah.
Right on.
Kits, yep.
Yeah.
I would, yep.
Yeah, so there'd be 200 people in there getting fucking hammered.
200, damn.
Oh, dude, at least. Then there'd be people out. That was on the weekend. So this is what it looks like.
That was right before. That was the day that I moved out. That we sold the place and everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
There used to be a big tree next to it.
Yeah, this is before they're doing work and then you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But there was like, dude, that place, it doesn't look that big, but dude,
you could cram them in.
And then 3 acres, and then fucking 50-foot tall bonfires and shit.
Nice.
We went through 100
jumping cars.
We went through 190 pallets one night. It poured. It was a Halloween night. It was one of the earliest Halloween parties that we had, and good old Greg Winterstrom, man, he brought him in his 70 El Camino. He brought him up and he stacked them, and we had pictures.
That's Greg Winterstrom.
That's Greg. God rest his soul, man.
Yeah. Oh, is he gone? Has he left us?
Oh man, he left.
Oh, God bless him.
Beautiful, beautiful person.
Yeah.
And so were they all. They were all.
Yeah.
But we had this big stack of pallets, and we just kept throwing them on. It was pouring rain. We had a mudslide. We had people running down my driveway and sliding on their belly through the mud all the way out to the fire pit.
That's great, man. Dude, I missed the 80s so fucking bad. You don't even know, man.
It was amazing.
Can you imagine like if we could just have a week to go back and just be like 17, 18 again, 16, whatever.
Okay. So dude, this is how it worked. So all the cops knew we were in one fucking spot.
Oh yeah. was like fish in
So
a barrel.
but on the other hand, they all knew where we were, so they
You weren't driving around.
at least they're all in one fucking spot.
Yeah,
they're not
yeah,
scattered all over the fucking town, so their job got easier.
Yeah.
Right.
But they would come to the end of the driveway, you'd walk up,
And let you know.
We need to arrest so and so. Well, how much is the bill? Well, it's $50. Okay. Lowenstein, pass the hat. So Tom would pass the hat.
I remember that.
And then by the time I walked the dude out to the thing, I'm hopping in the El Camino, and we're going to get him back out of jail and back to the barn.
Yeah.
No, it's like, can't we just pay you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool because the cops were cool. Like, you know, we weren't out to fuck anybody, or we weren't criminals. You know, we weren't
most of the time when the cops were called, it was because, you know, we had a side street across the street from, you know, you go out my driveway. I had a real long driveway. You go out and you cross the street, and there was a side street where everybody parked on, and all the neighbors down there would be like, another party, and they'd get pissed because people would, you know, come down there and be loud and throwing their beer bottles and everything. So we came up with the bucket brigade. So me, my brother, and a couple of friends, every night when we would have a party, we'd have to go out there with buckets and pick up all the bottles, cans, people to shut up, you know.
Keep the neighbors happy.
Get the people out of who passed out in their front yard, you know. Oh, another one. Oh, shit.
So, like, you know, like most of the time, you know, like when people are partying, you know, there was a parent around. I mean, there was, you know, exceptions. There was cool parents, you know.
Oh, yeah.
To be around cool parents that weren't mine. You know what I mean? So, dude, you'd walk in you'd be hammered. And there's, you know, who's standing there? Mr. Wagner.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and he's talking to like 6 rocker chicks. You know what I mean? He doesn't give a shit that you're hammered. He's just glad to see you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's looking at boobs, man. He's happy, right?
I can take this one. Okay. So I've got a lot of stories here. I'm going to try and say them as quick as I can, but Carrie Nation, good friend of ours, Carrie Nation, God rest her soul too.
Damn, man.
She had as my dad said, she had a great set of lungs.
Yeah.
I don't know if he said breathing or breeding.
Yeah, well,
she would go in, you know, and see, all the girls had to go into the house and use, you know, that's where the bathroom was.
Yeah, the dude pissed in the yard.
We pissed in the yard.
Girls went in the house. Yeah.
That's why the garden grew so well. Anyways,
corn tasted funny.
Yeah.
Kind of wangy.
I don't know if those were tomatoes. They came up yellow. I don't know.
Pepper? I don't know.
But it turned out that the girls were going to use the bathroom and everything, and they'd had to go through the kitchen. And of course, that was my dad's domain. That was Pop's domain. So Carrie would come out, you know, half an hour later, and she'd be like, Glen, will you please tell your dad to quit touching my boobs? I'm like, what happened now? And Pop's favorite go-to thing was he'd be like, oh, Carrie, he'd hug her and shake her hand and go, oh my God, your hand is so cold, but I bet you got a warm heart.
He'd get a little titty shot.
But, you know, I mean, she was amazing. She was cool with it and everything. But the funny thing is, you know, there'd be people like, okay, where's my girlfriend? I go, well, you know, where was she last? Oh, she had to use the bathroom. You brought her in. And I'd be like, oh, go in the house. My dad's got her. And they'd be like, what? You'd go in the house. Okay. Any woman or any girl that came in the house had to go through the kitchen. My dad would be sitting in there. He'd had his police scanner sitting there, and he'd be listening for the police calls and everything. You know, big parties going on, even little parties, anything. And he'd have all these girls sitting around the table, and he'd be baking cookies. And he's giving all the girls all these fresh baked cookies, and he couldn't remember their names. So he was always calling them, you know, my dad he was old school. He was born in 1925. So he'd sit there and he was like, hey, Matilda. Hey, you know, Jolie. Hey, you know, calling them names from the 50s and everything.
You just pick them out.
Yeah. And the girls loved it. They were like, hey, Pop, what's my name? Oh, Sarah Lee, you know, and it was just, and they'd be sitting there eating cookies and sitting there telling him stories from when I was a little shorty.
Yeah.
I'd come in and I'd say, all right, you, and you, your boyfriends are looking for you. So
Yeah.
they come walking out and go, oh yeah, you used to wet your diaper all the way up until 5, huh? And I'd be like, what? Pop,
Thanks,
just
man.
Pop, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
So he was an amazing man. He
Nice.
God rest his soul, man.
Yep. God bless him, man.
He was. That picture there, Forrest, my brother Forrest, man. Amazing brother. I love him. You know, we had our falling outs and this and that, but I love him dearly. He took Pop back in, I believe, 1942, no, 43, I think it was. He was supposed to graduate. And it turned out that he signed up for the Navy and he turned 18.
As you did back then, right?
And so the teacher came to him one day and said, hey, you know, we're having a big test on Monday. And my dad goes, hey, I'm not going to be here. I'm going off to save the country, you know? And so he didn't get his diploma. He had all his points and everything. And Forrest, my brother Forrest, I love him. He went and, you know, went to his school, and which is, you know, to this day still in operation. I forget the name of the school, but it says it right there. And that's his diploma. So I think it was, I want to say 72 years later that he got his diploma.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And it was on the news and everything. And Pop's just
nice.
Awesome. I saw him shaking the newswoman's hand and everything. And I'm like, no, Pop, no warm heart.
Yeah, don't grab her, Pop. Hey, you know, back in the day though, people weren't as sensitive. You could mess around, you know.
So, okay, so you see the background here behind Greg?
Maiden, I love it, man.
Dude, the whole inside of the place was covered with posters and fucking black light. Fucking
The thing about the barn.
Oh, look at that car, man.
Yep.
With the Maiden
my car changed for every holiday.
Yeah.
And that was when I was going to the Maiden concert. I said, man, I gotta do something.
Yeah, I remember seeing him on Power Slave, man. What a great show.
Right.
I have not seen a bad Maiden show.
No.
Even the one I seen out in California where they were with it was Ozfest, and where, you know, Bruce Dickinson and Sharon Osbourne were
they weren't jihad too good on that one.
And they were she was shutting off the amp. She paid some of the smaller bands to throw eggs at Iron Maiden. And, you know, everybody, you know, the crazy thing is, you know, Maiden, you know, the amps kept shutting off. They kept, you know, coming out, trying to do their songs, couldn't do it. Says, you know, LA, we're sorry, you know. They came out for their encore. The amps got shut off and everything, and they were like, all right, sorry guys, you know, enough is enough. They left the stage and all the Black Sabbath guys were sitting there tearing down all of the, you know, Maiden's got all those tapestries and stuff. And they're tearing them all down, and they're just, you know, crumpling them up, throw them aside and everything. Sharon Osbourne comes out to the mic. She goes, hey, you know,
Ozzy!
And she's sitting there going, you know, I want to thank, you know, Iron Maiden for being, because I believe it was, you know, Judas Priest that started it the first half, and then Iron Maiden went the second half, and they went ahead, and they were, she was sitting there going, we want to, the band is so awesome, the band is so great, this and that, you know, but the lead singer, Bruce Dickinson, and everybody started booing her and throwing beers and throwing everything. And she couldn't finish what she had to say.
Nice.
She got booed off stage and everything. By the time that, and unfortunately, by the time Ozzy came out there and Black Sabbath was playing and everything, probably about 2/3 of the people had left.
Yeah.
And I was able to get, it was like Alpine Valley, you know, I mean, you know, how the big hill and everything like that. I think they call it the Hyundai Stadium out in in California, over by Corona and all that.
All right.
Well, anyways, we were able to get down to 5th row without anybody stopping us. And we watched probably the first, 5 minutes of the show. Ozzy just sat there and went like this,
Yeah.
We're like, this is just not the way I want to see Ozzy. So we left. We went, by the time we got in the parking lot, everybody was in the parking lot and all they were doing was jamming Maiden.
Nice.
I was like, that was cool.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Maiden.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a little word here from Vito. We'll be back, and then we're going to...
cool. I'm going to step to the boys' room while you're doing the...
I think I'm going to do the same.
All right.
Yeah.
I saw he's got a bush over in the corner. I think.
Yeah, just let her rip, man. He doesn't care.
Yeah, you got a mop.
Yeah.
All right.
Pond.
The Book of Vito Bupkis.
Hey everybody, it's your pal Vito. In this book, I talk about subjects people seem to get their panties in a wad over. I mean, who would have thunk? Gay fucking marriage, common fucking sense, garage fucking sales. But hey, what do I know? Guaranteed to offend, and it's available now at vincentcustos.com. And, you can get it there.
The Book of Vito Bupkis.
So order yours today, or else.
So how funny is it that 2 grown-ass men couldn't make it 27 minutes into the program without having to take a piss? Ladies and gentlemen, we are securely in our 50s. You broke the seal now, guys. All right. I was just giving you shit that 2 guys left. They couldn't make it 27 minutes into the show without having to pee.
Hey, we're
You know what, everyone, go get your prostate checked.
Yeah, we're in our golden years. It happens.
Yeah. Prostate awareness, not just any asshole, yours.
Hell yeah.
I like that. That's good.
So all right, so yeah, here's a list. Chris Westmuller.
Talented pianist.
Yeah, dude. This guy, he had the whole world in front of him. Like he worked at this. A lot of the guys worked at the country club, right?
Ruth,
Yeah.
Ruth, like I worked there too.
Yeah. So he was a trained classic pianist. Amazing. Amazing. And they would hire him to play, like the big, golfers, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Even weddings.
Yeah.
Weddings.
Yeah. All this stuff. And he'd be playing classical versions of fucking King Diamond.
Ah.
And
nobody ever
had the. Yeah, that's
dude,
right.
He's doing like this whole fucking.
I remember.
And he'd do it all the time, dude. It was a fucking.
That's awesome.
I remember that.
So yeah, and then he wound up he wound up going to that band Tattoo, and then I guess he was on one album.
Did you get Dan Sahlberg on there?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So as Chris Westmuller, cool guy. You staying with them. A lot of people, that came here, dude, everyone had issues. That was so cool about coming here. You could fucking relax, man.
Yeah.
No one's up your ass about whatever the fuck.
Unless you were playing football and Forrest was playing.
Yeah. There was hacky circles, all, dude, some fucking epic hacky sack.
Oh, dude. I'd come home. There'd be 60 people in my driveway.
Oh, dude, it was
playing hacky sack.
Yeah.
60 people. I'd be like,
it'd be like 20 foot across circles, man. Fucking.
I'd be getting home from school
and everyone's fucking hammered and fucking tripping, or
or watching Heineken screw a cushion that he dragged out of the barn. I'll tell you about Heineken in a minute.
Then one of my close buddies, former Lords of Trash, Mr. Rob Young.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Greg Winterstrom. Another Lords of Trash, Mr. Johnny Hack.
Yep.
I've known him since I was fucking kindergarten. Scott O'Carroll. He was actually killed.
Green mailbox.
Yeah.
That was Green Mailbox, Dirty Deeds.
Yeah,
Green
Green
Mailbox.
Mailbox is the place where you saw the green mailbox you turned in there. That's where the party was.
Oh, okay.
It was my partying competition,
Yeah,
so to speak.
it was the evil barn. It was the anti barn, like the anti.
Their place would get shut down. Their parties would get shut down, and they'd come over to my house and try and sell beer at my house at my parties,
Oh,
or whippets or whatever. And
whippets. I miss whippets.
yeah, I'd be like, dude, you're at my place. Either I get 10% cut or you give it to them free.
Hey, do people do whippets anymore, or is that just like our generation, man?
I don't know, but I got a whole bunch of tanks of oxygen the other day.
What do you mean?
Dude, I was flying high, man.
How long do I hold this in for again?
I didn't cough the whole day.
I remember buying the big balloons with like the rubber band on it. Dong, dong, dong.
Oh, balloons.
Yep.
Yeah, CreatiVity Chinese spy balloon.
Yeah. Yeah, I've run into a few spy balloons in my day too, you know. I don't know if they were Chinese or not, but damn, they were good.
Yeah, right?
I loved whippets, man. I knew this chick back in the day that she worked at ice cream parlor. I would pull up in my pickup and she'd throw me out a case of spent whipped cream cans and off I'd go.
I thought this
Nice.
was going to be a porno story.
Right.
It was a whippet story.
So here's some other Barnage people. That's from a Halloween party at Mr. Dave R's house. I don't want to give out his last name, but there's Sandy,
Nice.
Chris, and Rusty.
Yep,
There's Anna. There's Mr. Dave.
Hey, Dave.
This, of course, is
Hey, Dave kind of reminds me of Russell Brand, you know?
right.
He does. He's got that look.
Yeah.
Cool guy.
yeah.
Great musician.
Angie, one of my greatest loves.
Mm-hmm.
I lost her in August,
Ah,
and it's just it's still painful.
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, totally.
Well, that's a pisser. I mean,
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
nice segue to Mr. Anthony.
Yep.
But yeah, there's
oh God.
right, and here's the radio station.
Oh,
we used to listen to
VVX.
at night.
Yep, you would come on at 10 o'clock at night and stay on until 2
Yeah, it
in
was
the
this
morning.
dude. He'd rent airtime on a shitty station, like a nothing.
Yeah.
And it was him and Glen, the phone man. They'd get fucked up and play metal.
And
Nice.
They'd take bong hits on the air and shit.
They mentioned the barn. I used to know the dates. Once in 1987, and I think it had to be September. I got it written down somewhere.
Yeah, because all of us would call in and request music from the barn.
Yeah.
And people hated me because my dad had the rotary phone and everything. And so when it came to like voting for bands or something like that, they're like, God damn it. Oh, I missed the number. And have to start all over and everything.
Right.
Yeah, I could imagine my dad being like, if they're gonna use the phone, I'll show it.
All right, so here we go. Jim Murray.
Jim Murray.
Yeah.
I got a great story.
All right.
Great story about Jim Murray. So Jim Murray gets out of jail. He gets out of jail for a DUI. He had a couple of DUIs and everything. So he's in his Monte Carlo. And he gets pulled over on Lakeshore Drive. He takes his girlfriend out. They're gonna sit there and go out, party, whatever.
Yeah.
Gets pulled over. He's drunk off his ass. The cop comes walking up and goes, "Oh, no. You're not going to tell me that she was driving." So Jim's like, "Oh shit," and he waits till the cop goes, he went back to the car or something, came back up to his car, and he took off. He drives all the way down I-55. He's cruising along. He is flying. He's doing. He told me later he was doing about 110 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Gets off at Lamont Road, comes down Lamont Road, comes all the way up to 63rd and Lamont. Well, on the corner of 63rd and Lamont, there used to be a 7-Eleven, which, you know, Frank used to work at and Tim used to work at, and we used to go up there and get free chili and hot dogs. Anyways, that's another story. So there just happened to be a Texas Ranger standing there, you know, coming out of the 7-Eleven, and he's up here on some assignment or court case or something.
Yeah.
He sees this car come flying around the corner. And he's like, what the hell is that? So he gets on his radio and everything, and he finds out that they're chasing this guy, but they lost him. They don't know where he is. So he calls, you know, on his radio. He follows the car down to Dunham. Well, you know, when you turn off of 63rd on Dunham, you come up over the hill, and my driveway was right there. Well, Jim shoots down the driveway and everything. He shuts its lights off and everything. The only way that this Texas Ranger seen anything, he saw his brake lights. Backs up, goes down the driveway, goes, I got him, you know, this and that. So Jim and his girlfriend get out of the car. They go running in the backyard. They're hiding in my backyard. This Texas Ranger is out there looking. Meanwhile, I got Rob Garside sitting in his car. That's when he was living in his car. Mm-hmm. And he's sitting there and I was selling the dime bags of weed and everything. Hypothetically.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
So I'm in the house at the time. I had a room in the house, and I'm sitting there and I'm counting my money. I'm counting, you know, certain things and this and that, and I'm getting ready to put it in my safe and everything. And all of a sudden, Rob's banging on my back door. I'm like, what? He goes, dude, there's cops pulling in your driveway like mad. And I'm like, holy shit, man. I'm like stuffing everything in the safe and shutting it and covering it. And I go out there and everything. All of a sudden, I got 10 flashlights on me. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? And they're like, no, that's not him. So meanwhile, my dad's sleeping. His bed is right next to the driveway. We've got, and I counted it, 27 cop cars.
Damn.
Parked in my driveway and along the front of my house. All my neighbors are like, yay, he's finally going down. And I'm going, yeah, fuck you. But it turned out that my dad woke up and he saw cherries, you know, all these, you know, colorful lights, and he thought it was Christmas. Went back to bed, you know, so he wakes up again. So I'm out there, I'm talking with the cops, I'm joking, laughing, whatever, and they're trying to find Jim in my backyard and everything. They found his girlfriend, bring her up. She's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm freaking out. I don't know. So anyways, this Texas Ranger comes walking up with Jim hogtied in handcuffs and brings him over. And all the cops are sitting there going, no, he's going in our car. And this guy's like, nope, I'm taking him down. This is my bust. Throws him in, broke his arm, fractured his ankle,
Damn.
You know, and everything. But all these cops, my dad comes out and he goes, what the hell did you do? And I'm like, Dad, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. This was one of my pop's greatest stories. He used to love telling this story. And he comes out and I love my pops, but you know, there should have been some censorship that night, because he comes out, he's in his drawers and a beater tee and everything. And he's like yelling at me. And I'm like, Dad, I didn't do it. And the cops are like, no, Glen's innocent this time.
This time.
and
Just by chance.
Yeah. We had Chicago cops there. We had forest rangers. We had LaGrange cops, Lamont cops. We had, and Downers Grove was like the last to pull up, and everybody on the, you know, they showed up. They had to park on the street because
Martian police got here.
Yeah, it was like, you know, they were late to the party,
Right?
But it was like, yeah, that was Jim Murray. So
yeah.
So I got a story going back to Rob Young. Okay, so me and Rob hung out a lot with Lofty and Gene. And
oh yeah.
Okay, so we go on this trip to Indiana Beach. Okay,
I think I remember this one.
Indiana Beach, you know, it's got like a campground, and then across the street or a river, there's, you know, or Big Lake or something, and there's a amusement park, And so we go down there, and it was the week that Miller MGD Genuine Draft
Yeah.
Yep.
came out. So we got 11 cases.
Oh shit.
And there's 6 of us. It's me, Rob, Wendy, Michelle.
Yep.
Rob's little brother Tim.
Tim. Yep.
And Kim.
And Kim White. Or
No. Rob, Timmy's best friend, Kim.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
And so they're young,
Yeah.
Timmy and Kim. So Saturday morning, whatever, like, yeah, we'll get up, fucking start cooking breakfast, first fucking beer, blah, blah, blah. Dude, shotgun. Yeah. So the next thing you know, dude,
That was Rob too. That was Rob.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Let's get some beers. Yeah. So
he was the first one I learned FTW about.
Oh my God. Yeah,
FTW.
And dude, so we shotgunned 9 beers apiece. By the time fucking breakfast was done, we're like, hey, let's go rent a canoe.
That seems like the right thing to do right now.
Remember this story.
Well, we fine. I can we're all about. Yeah, I can roll. Okay, come on, it's a canoe. And so we're like, okay, blah blah blah. So, dude, we go through this whole fucking rigmarole.
Wait, let me stop you real quick. Vince had this big, huge fro at that time.
It wasn't a fro.
Oh, dude,
rocker hair.
that was
my rocker.
Dude, that was huge. Huge. I got a great story about that later. Okay. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's
Go ahead.
right. So finally, after all this bullshit, we fucking rent a canoe, right? And one of the girls has got a camera on there, and everyone's wallet, and everyone, blah blah. So, dude, we get about 6 feet from the fucking edge, and we capsize the fucking canoe. We're fucking gone. And we're fucking, me and Rod dying laughing, the girls like, what the fuck? Yeah. So
I remember Rob telling me this story.
Yeah, wallet and fuck. Oh my God, man.
Didn't go as well. And there was something about a pine tree too.
Yeah, so we went through all those 11 cases of beer that weekend.
Damn.
Yeah.
Miller Genuine Draft. That brings back memories, man.
Now don't even smell it, get it away from me.
Nope, me either. I was not a fan.
You
at
knew.
the time.
Yeah.
No.
It was cheap beer. It was like, almost equal to old style at the time.
Yeah, we used to drink Milwaukee's Best. What swill that was.
That was when you're broke. Okay, who's got change? Dude, I got 289 and we need like 73 cents.
Yeah.
Get a 6-pack of fucking bilge piss.
Yeah.
Well, wait, hold on. How much you got? 239, dude. We can get a bottle of Night Train. It's $1.99.
Oh, Night Train, yeah.
And we'll trip
Boone's
your
Farm
balls
was
off.
$1.25.
Yeah. Boone's Farm.
Boone's Farm? Oh, Night Train? Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Night Train was rough, man.
Oh my God, we used to
Rough.
Ah, good times.
get 2 of those.
Do they even make that anymore? I don't even know. I don't see it anymore.
Yeah, they make it.
I think so.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was one Rob Young. And the whole thing too with like Rob and his girlfriend Wendy at the time, dude.
Wendy,
fucking high drama all the fucking time, constantly. Dude, by fucking 11:30, it's like
Episode 23 on the Rob and Wendy Show.
Guys, come on out in the backyard. They're starting.
Oh yeah,
Starting.
It's like commercials over. Come on,
come on. Oh, did you bring a beer? No, wait, don't go pee. You're gonna miss it.
They're about to start throwing shit.
I know, right?
But it was like that, like everyone. That was like everyone's first exposure to like, oh, maybe sometimes 2 people shouldn't date.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was a valid learning experience.
Maybe you're not right for each
You
other.
think one of them is gonna end up dead with an axe in the back of their head?
Right.
Yeah. Dude, holy shit.
Hey, you remember the house they got over in Westmont and everything? It was him and Greg and I don't know if Lofty was in.
It was Lord's of Trash House.
So they kept inviting me over, and Wendy was in my class, and they kept telling Wendy, Tell Glenn to come over.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Gino.
The only time I went over there was to help Greg Winterstrom moved out because they got busted too many times. And it was just, it was the Lord, it's a trash. But yeah, Rob. I remember Rob. What was it? Run DMC. He goes, dude, you got to hear Run DMC, man. You got to hear this. And he plays it for me. He plays his tape and everything. And I'm like, dude, that was great, but they can just keep running.
Yeah.
Rob was a good guy, man.
Yeah, he was good. He was good people.
You know.
Even his brother.
Oh, yeah, Timmy's cool.
Timmy's all right.
All right, so here we go. Jim Sumi.
Jim. Good old Jimmy.
Dave King.
Dave King.
Mike Sumi.
I didn't know Mike left us.
Yeah, this is from, I'm just going from what people,
Yeah.
Pat Carter.
And I didn't know Pat until you just told me. So, yeah.
So, dude,
Pat,
we're going down to the Blues Fest one year, right? And that's the T-shirt you've seen me wear, Blues Fest, Chicago Blues 96,
Right.
so or whatever it was, and so we're supposed to meet him down there with a few other people, right? Because they knew we were going and they didn't want to go. I'm like, yeah, dude, you have a fucking blast. It's Blues Fest. So we get there and we don't, this is before cell phones and all that shit,
Yeah.
And like, dude, we're never gonna find, never gonna fucking find him, right? So we walk up to fucking,
it was like
the fountain, that you see in Married with Children.
Yeah, Buckingham Fountain.
Yeah, so we walk up to
Buckingham
Buckingham
that with
Fountain,
Joe Ostrowski.
and there's two dudes making out, and then I look past the two dudes that are making out, and Pat Carter's pissing in the fucking fountain. He's in the fountain, pissing in the fucking fountain. Pat!
Couldn't find the shitter.
Oh, and just to be clear, that isn't Pat Catalano from the Beard.
Yeah, right.
It's Pat Carter.
The first time I met Pat Carter. Okay.
And he's my buddy, both of our good buddy, Kenny Dupree's cousin.
Well, that was one of the, I was going to bring this up, but the one time when you get off the bus and you were with a couple of buddies who lived down the street, and me and Kenny are hanging out being dorks, and you come up, all of Vince's buddies are sitting there grabbing, me and Kenny, and I think there was two other guys, and they're grabbing them and stuffing their faces in the snow. It was during the winter, and Vince comes up, he grabs me and he goes, dude, I got to make this look good. And I'm like, all right, man, go ahead, do it.
Go ahead.
And Vince goes, is that good enough? I'm like, I think so. Everybody was watching. It was like that moment. I mean, and since that day, man, me and Vince have been just heart blood friends,
Yeah.
It was that, but it was hilarious. Yeah, but the day I met Pat Carter, him and who was it? Bill Craxton used to hang out. They lived like real close to each other. I don't know where Bill Craxton ends up, but anyways, I'm sitting there right next to my neighbors. Had these big hills. They had this driveway that was cement walls, gravel. The cement walls went up to their garage, but on each side of the driveway there was this big dirt mound. And the one on the north side of their driveway went up, and if you were lucky enough to jump this on your BMX bike, you got fame.
Yeah.
This thing was huge. You would fly through. You had to go through like two trees that were like this close. I mean, it was amazing. So I'm sitting there one day, and I'm hearing this blah, 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 and I'm wondering what the fuck is going on. All of a sudden, this guy comes riding his BMX, flies like almost over us, lands in my yard, comes, power sliding, and Bill Craxton comes around on a BMX or on a little mini bike and everything.
Yeah.
And these guys are sitting there like, hey, we heard you're having a party. And I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
And that was
Show up.
I had met Bill Croxton and then Pat Carter, man.
Nice.
Yep. And me and him, we hit it off because I was big into BMX, had my old Diamondback, had, you know, plenty of mongooses, Roger DeCosters, you know, everything. It was nuts. Red lines.
Nice.
Yeah, back in the day, the 80s were great for BMX.
Hell yeah.
So
then Kevin Hubbard, who I also used to hang out with quite often.
oh,
And
Kevin Hubbard last
yeah, so
wow.
there was a ladder, so we'd basically climb into Kevin's room if he wasn't home and wait for him to show up, you know what I mean? And so one day we did that. We got off early, we were waiting for Kevin, and we got up there, we were bored, we looked underneath his bed and there was a Cabbage Patch doll.
Ah.
And dude, we're fucking dying.
Cabbage.
Dude, John fucking wrote us fucking on the ground. Fucking everyone's fucking like, get the fuck out of here. So then, like, you know, like we left like the Cabbage Patches like fucking pants down and like put like what do you call it, like hand cream on its face.
Yeah.
Like abused it. And we found it, and it was named Otto. And dude, oh, yeah, dude. Oh my god, fucking funnier than hell.
Oh, imagine if you had that one now.
Yeah. And then Carrie Nation, who Glenn mentioned before.
Lots and lots of stories about Carrie. Just an amazing soul.
Yeah.
You know, and which it was wrong at this time, but her and I, you know, when we had, you know, kind of separated, she was doing her own thing, I was doing my own thing, and all of a sudden we call up each other and be like, hey, you know what, 47 people killed at a McDonald's in you know, Russia. And she'd be like, yeah, I heard about that. And what her obsession with people getting murdered at McDonald's just was weird. Weird. I don't know. But she would call up and everything, and she'd tell me, hey, I heard, you know, people in Canada got killed at this McDonald's. And I'd be like, Carrie, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
What's going on here? But yeah, she left us. She was a beautiful soul. Beautiful soul.
Yeah.
And, you know, even my pops, you know, he shed a tear when he heard about that. He was like,
sure. Yeah.
He loved them lungs.
He's like, she had a great pair, that broad.
She had a great for breathing.
And Siggy Warner, cool shit.
Siggy,
Yeah,
amazing. She went with Kenny Bennett for when I first met him.
Mm-hmm.
She was there when I totaled out my first legal car.
Legal car.
And she dated Tony Raymond. She dated a couple of people. She was always a big staple at the barn. One time she got with, you know, my first wife, who was actually my girlfriend at the time, Nicole, which is in the very beginning of the video.
Yeah.
Nicole, she was the queen of the barn. Nicole was the queen of the barn.
Nice.
And
there can only be one.
yes, she was always the queen, will ever be the queen. She is my second love. You know, I mean, at the time she was my first love, but you know, Angie, she took the crown, I'm sorry to say. But with that, they tried to set up a surprise birthday party for me. And I was like, all right, look, I already know it's a surprise birthday party. You guys know glitter. What did they do? I mean,
Doused you with it.
Dude, that was 30 years ago, and there's still fucking glitter in the barn. I swear to God. I mean, that shit just does not go away.
It's like strip. It's like when you go to the strip club, you come home the next day, you're like, what is this?
Heath Bar.
Yeah.
Good old
dude,
Heath Bar.
So
Love Heath.
Here's how the story starts. So hypothetically, some acid was purchased.
Allegedly.
There was some acid purchased, and wasn't quite doing its thing, and then said, "Oh, so and so, Exhibit A. Hey, we'd like to get some more." Sure. And it was like at the bottom of the fucking tinfoil
Yeah,
from someone you may be related to. I bought from
my brother.
hypothetically.
Allegedly.
Right.
Ah,
So
you
then-
don't
Then, dude, it was like the police show up because someone's freaking out because the door's locked and thinks their dad's in there. It's not Glenn.
I was on vacation at that time. Oh my god!
So then, dude, so I'm with Tom. I'm with Tom. I'm with Tom and Heath when this happens to go down.
Okay.
So, bam, 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 police show up. Well, the barn, they're cool with the people at the barn, so they stop at the street. The fucking driveway's 300 feet long, dude.
Because usually either my brother or I would
And
go out to the end of the driveway and be like, hey guys, what's going on? You know?
so that person is at the edge of the driveway drinking a bottle of Jack, going, "Fuck you, pit." Freaking the fuck out.
I'm in Minnesota with my dad.
So he's actually shorter in stature. You know what I mean? He's like 5'5".
Forrest?
Yeah. Dude, as soon as he did that, the fucking acid kicked in and he turned into a fucking screaming gnome.
God.
With
You almost killed somebody that
dude,
night.
his shoes went turned into like the fucking curly fucking, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Everybody told me.
So then the cops come and everyone's fucking booking, right? Everyone's fucking flailing out of the thing. So we have a case of beer and it's me, Tom, and Heath. And we're fucking, so we book it, right? Into like 3 or 4 acres down to another yard.
Right.
And we're like, oh, and I'm fucking
We're safe.
And I haven't done acid before.
Yeah.
And I'm already fucking weird enough by myself. I don't need that shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so dude, we're all like, oh my god, I'm freaking out. And
Let me stop you real quick. Throw this in.
oh, it's right at the fucking climax. Oh,
When-
hey, are you about to come, boy? Let me shoot you in the head.
When I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. When Vince used to come,
Build up.
when
build
Vince
up.
used to come over to the barn at that time, he did not even smoke weed.
Uh,
No,
No,
I was on a break
I
over
would
there.
always be like, dude, you want to? I'd be sitting there doing the bong,
Yeah, that's
and it'd be
what I
like-
did for like 2 years.
yeah. And for like the first 2 years I met you, you were like, no,
Yeah.
and yeah, okay. Didn't mean to steal your thunder. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's
So you're
okay.
you're in the yard.
Well, was I? No.
You were in the yard. You're freaking out. You've got this acid going. You're like,
Okay. So freaking out, right? Everyone like the fucking high panic. You can hear the people freaking out. The fucking brrr, the fucking sirens. Everyone's freaking. Blah, blah, blah. Dude, I'm tripping balls. We fucking both. Everyone, dude, at the same time looks over. Okay, this is me. Sorry, my hands are dirty. I did my brakes. This is me.
Yeah.
This is Tom. This is a fucking raccoon, and this is Heath. There was literally a raccoon sitting up, like hanging out with us, like, "Hey guys, what the fuck's going on?"
what I miss?
And I'm like, "What the fuck?" So
You're
then
like-
we fucking book it again. That night, we got fucking stopped by the cops 7 fucking times.
fuck.
Dude, they were chasing us on foot, and they
Bicycles, all
the
kinds of
the
shit.
bridge got pulled over there. Then Tranquina was there. He wouldn't shut the fuck
Oh,
up. Another
Dude,
fucking
Tranquina,
time.
yeah.
Oh my
remember
god.
too. he was a talker. He
Like,
was
dude,
always a
Don't
talker.
say like literally. I had to say, dude, if you say anything, I'm gonna punch you in the face. Do not say anything to the police. Do not.
Yeah.
Just hand them your ID. Don't
Yeah.
say a fucking word,
Just-
dude.
Mm.
Because if he said one, it'd be 7,000.
And he always
Right.
talked to the side of his mouth and be
Yeah.
like,
Well, you know, my
you know,
great-grandfather used to
yeah,
traffic,
you know,
you know, cocaine,
yeah, you know.
You know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I hear you.
Chris Lester,
Chris Lester.
Todd Lindsay.
Those two hung together.
Yeah,
Chris was kind of a quiet type.
yeah.
You know, as far as I know, it was down in Florida, he was always, you know, he was always with the Lindsays, always with the Lindsays, you know. And the first time I ever met the Lindsays, I was tripping.
No.
I was with
No.
I was with Kim White over in Meadowbrook and everything. And Kim's like, you got to meet these guys. And I'm sitting there like, all right, I'll meet anybody. So these guys come over and they're all sitting there going, do you feel boxed in and drawn out? And they're sitting there, you know, zigzagging and everything.
Yeah. So
When
you're running on Hall.
you're wondering, yeah.
Say what?
I fell for it. I still fall for it.
Yeah.
I never got the cheese.
Okay, so this next person, I have never enjoyed making anyone laugh more than this dude because his fucking laugh was the best. Dan Flanagan.
Dan.
Yeah,
Dude, such a nice fucking guy. And his laugh was great. And that's how I learned I was funny. Was him, Loft House, and who else was there? Another Mike, the artist.
What about Rob? Rob the
no, it was at this one get together where this happened, where I learned that I was like funny. Was like what? This group, you know what I mean? So like he was like my first, if I could make Dan Flanagan laugh like that.
Yeah, you knew you had something.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Dude, I was working with Dan Flanagan, or was Dan Flanagan?
Yeah.
I was at the barn one day. I was sick, and Heritage Fest was going on. And Dan Flanagan, Mike Epack, and God, I can't think of his name, but the third party, you know, and they showed up, and Dan is sitting there, and his fucking nose is gushing blood, and he's got this Jack Daniels shirt, and he's holding it and everything. They got into this big fight in the back alley behind Grove Premium, you know, in downtown Downers Grove during Heritage Fest, you know, and I mean that's how they kind of were.
Yeah.
So he's like, dude, I gotta have a shirt, man. So I gave him a shirt, and he gave me the Jack Daniels shirt, drenched in blood. And I remember I washed it. I still have that shirt to this day.
That's awesome.
Still to this, I washed it. It's clean. Job, Glen. All the blood is gone. Yeah. Don't worry. Yeah. But yeah.
Statute of limitations is gone too.
Right? I tried to clone him.
So Dan had a brother, and the school thought I was blowing off classes, right? Which I was. But they thought I was going out and like doing drugs, and that's the time where I wasn't smoking pot, right?
Yeah.
But I wasn't. You know where I was? I was hanging out in the special needs fucking classroom with my brother,
Anthony,
and playing Lemonade. There was a video game, a really early computer game.
Yeah.
So I hung out with the special needs kids, and I was hanging out in there.
Oh, right on.
Because I wasn't learning anything and the teachers let me hang in there. I'm like, no, I've been to school the whole time working with the kids.
Yeah, so, right on.
So that's why I started, you know, disability stuff was because of that.
Sure.
Dan had an older brother named
You
John.
guys carry on. I'll be right back with you.
All right.
Oh, wait.
All right.
All right.
So you remember John?
Yeah.
John Flanagan?
Yeah.
So it turned out that John Flanagan, very quiet soul, he would show up, and excuse me, it was during the times when we would, you know, sit there and with Greg Geffey and tie all the empty boxes, because Greg Geffey would pass out, and we'd tie all the empty boxes to his ankle, and he'd leave. He'd be so drunk, he'd walk out the door, and we'd find this big rope with all these empty boxes up on 63rd, because he'd be like, what the fuck am I dragging? Anyways,
nice.
John Flanagan would come to our parties, a lot like, you know, Garside Mickey, and he would get totally trashed.
Yeah.
He'd pass out, wake up maybe 12 o'clock and everything, go over, see the keg was empty, reach behind a chair and pull out a beer. And we're like, John, where'd you get that beer? And he's like, he drink the beer, pass out again.
Yeah.
Wake up 15, 20 minutes later. Grab another beer out from behind the chair. Of course, we were too drunk to say, hey, somebody look behind that chair.
Yeah.
But he would sit there and he would, have about 4 cans of beer. And he would be like, all right, this and that. When he ran out of beer, he'd get up, he'd walk out, disappear. We didn't know if he made it home. We didn't know if he would fucking,
I guess I didn't know.
Yeah. Next day, he'd be there. He was like, John, you made it.
I
He'd be
guess I
like,
didn't know.
Yep. Guess I didn't know.
So, okay, so then Glen Helton, one of the coolest guys ever is this guy here. Dan, the guitar man, Mr. Dan Selberg.
Yep. Dan
Known this kid
Selberg.
for a long time. Kid.
Yep.
Great guy. His daughter actually just passed.
Oh, she passed too?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So, terrible situation around there. Jerry Mansky, your ex-brother-in-law.
My ex-brother-in-law, man, he was part of the barn. Old style.
Yeah, dude.
Jerry's pump service.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude was strong.
That guy.
Holy shit.
He
He
put
could
me,
lift a truck.
dude, he put me in my place. And when he put me in my place, I respected him after that. Yep.
Jim Knowles.
Yep. Jim Knowles.
Tex.
Tex.
Tex was another
Yeah.
large
Tex was
trash.
larger than life.
Yeah.
He
Oh
was-
yeah. Hey guys, what are you doing? Hey Ken. Hey Rob, guys.
Hey.
Yeah.
Biker dude. As long as I had known him, the guy was riding a motorcycle at 2 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So over at the Lords of Trash house, right?
Mhm.
So we're over there, and every Friday, Tex would come home. I'd be over there. Everyone's got their paychecks.
Yeah.
And people would be shooting darts and maybe heightening their awareness, perhaps, in the party situation that's going there, right?
Yeah.
And so people would be playing darts. We're like, fuck that. So the basement wasn't finished. It was just studs.
Yeah.
So we'd mark a 1-inch part on a 2x.
Okay.
Put an X, and it was $10 a throw.
Nice.
Dude, I used to take at least $250 every Friday, dude. Every Friday.
Wow.
$250.
See, I was supposed to be there, but I had
Oh
my
my
own
God.
gig going on.
Oh my God, that was so funny, man. Then Jeff Stratton.
Jeff Stratton, best drummer I ever knew.
Yeah.
Biggest drunk I ever knew.
Yeah, he had some
Issues.
alcohol.
Loved the guy. Loved
Ed
him.
Flowers.
Loved him too, man. Dude, real quick.
Yeah.
I'm in California. I'm hearing about an alligator being sent to fucking San Diego Zoo.
Mhm.
I come back to Illinois. Me and Nicole, we come back to Illinois, and Ed's over on Lamont Road, and he's sitting there and he's like, "Oh yeah, dude, watch this," and he's showing me the fucking video, and he's telling me, he's stopping it every 5 minutes, and he's sitting there and he's like, "Dude, look at this." Turned out that they shut down all of fucking Lamont Road because Ed had an alligator. And the alligator got out and was in that swampy area closer to 83rd Street. That's where he was living. And there was like UPS or mailman or whatever. And it turned out that he saw the alligator, called, animal control and everything. And next thing you know, there's helicopters, cops, everything, this and that. So the video I'm watching that Ed showed me was that 2 of his buddies had gone back. He told them, instructed them, go back, tear down the pen, get everything cleared out, in case the cops, come up and, want to check the property. He's like, clear everything out, throw it in the garage, get rid of everything. So they come back and they're interviewing Ed, and Ed's sitting there, the lady's like, hey, who would have had an alligator in this area? And Ed's like, I have no idea why anybody would have an alligator. Meanwhile, his two buddies are standing behind him, sitting there going, bullshit. Oh, fucking bullshit. Oh, bullshit. And it's live on on the news. I mean, we were dying laughing watching that thing.
You know what else is funny? Is that there's someone that we also both know that got busted for having an alligator living in their basement.
And who was that?
True. Huh?
And who was that?
It may be someone from a band called Violent Insanity.
I haven't
Say
heard
no
that.
more, say no more, say no more. Moving on.
Oh, God.
Phil Armento, the
Phil
first guy to
Armento.
snow cap a bowl with me.
You ever heard a story about midgets going to the midget party?
That's a short one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh!
Oh, man, I loved Phil. Phil was awesome, man.
Forget about
it.
Hey, Phil, forget about it.
Forget about it.
about it.
Dude, he went to a party one time and somehow Angie told me about this. He ended up in that Enchanted Castle area where over in Joliet there, that with the miniature golf and all that. He fell asleep in one of the buildings.
Dude, this guy would be one of
I
those.
gotta stop you for a minute. You know, just being like a fly on the wall, like I'm not, you know, I wasn't there with you guys, but
Yeah.
the whole phrase, the Enchanted Castle in Joliet, just kind of struck me funny.
Nice. But he'd be like one of these guys, dude. You could be hammered and you'd be somewhere fucking completely random. And he walks out like Rod Steiger from the fucking Twilight Zone.
Oh, dude. Exactly.
Phil?
What are you doing here?
Dude, yeah. Like in the
You're
world,
at the midget party?
dude, like over the years too, and it's just the fucking thing, and you'd smile, you know.
You'd bump into Phil everywhere.
Dude, he'd sit there, he'd talk about his midget party and everything. He'd be like, they had little, you know, dishes and little cups and little beers, and you know, and it's like, what? What the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
But he was great. He was amazing.
Phil.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and so we got also Greg Von Rocks.
Yeah.
And then before we Angie, of course.
Angie.
And then Pops.
One of the greatest souls.
Yeah.
Ever.
And I want to also thank you, Bridget, Diane.
Yes.
Lofty, Guy Lewis.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I didn't get to all the pictures. There's a lot going on, but we can do barn part 2.
Absolutely.
That would be great.
But,
I'll bring the party barn top 1,000 and we'll probably go through the first section of it.
And let's get some of those folks to commit to come
Lori.
on.
Yeah.
Hey, quick story about Lori.
Knockowitz.
Quick story about Lori.
Yeah.
Okay. She loves this story. She loves it when I tell it. So we're sitting there one day and Mark, he blows off the light at 63rd and Main, ends up coming down my driveway. Cops follow him. I shut down the party. Lori is 96 months pregnant. I mean, I know it's crazy, but she is about to give birth at any minute with her first child. And we're sitting there and Mark gets followed in by the cops because he blew off the light at the corner. So they come up and everything, and they're reading him a riot act and everything. And I'm standing out there and I'm like, all right, and this and that. Nobody's parked in my driveway but Mark. And the cops are sitting there going, oh, you got a party going on. And I'm like, no, there's no party going. What are all those cars doing down the side street across the street? And I'm sitting there like,
damned if I know.
I'm like, there's a party going on down there. I don't know nothing about it, and this and that. Well, all of a sudden, Lori comes walking out of the barn. She's like, ready to give birth. Her husband had walked out of the barn and were kind of, sneaking up to the house, because when the cops pulled up, we shut off all the lights to the barn. everybody's in there. They got candles, they got lighters, they, and they're still sitting there drinking beer and everything. And the cops are like, "Oh, there they are." And they walk over and they kick open the barn, and there's probably about 100 people standing there like, and the cops come walking in. Somebody had taken the tapper off and everything because the keg was empty, and we were ready to switch out the keg. And it turned out that the cops sitting there going, "Did you charge all these people?" And I'm like, "No, they're all spending the night. They're, everybody's staying the night, and these are all
We're having a
slumber
sleepover
party, So it turned out that they kicked everybody out. I'm shaking hands, this and that. All right, you know what to do. Everybody drove around to the back street behind the barn and came in through the backyard as the cops ended up leaving.
Nice.
It's like we tapped the keg and kept going. But Lori was in the house, and I believe 2 days later she gave birth to her son.
Nice.
It took 21 years before I met the guy. So crazy story.
Yeah.
All right, Tone. All right, so we're definitely gonna have to do a part 2 of Tales from the Barn.
Yeah, I haven't even tapped into.
I can tell, man. I can tell, like, you guys had rager after rager.
Yeah, dude. There's a script.
Didn't even talk about the
there's
fire.
a whole fucking book about, dude.
Yeah.
I have. What is it? Before fire and after fire. So it's
let's plan on doing a part 2, and like you guys holler at your peeps, line them up, hold them down, and we'll do.
Holding them down. A lot of people. Hey, there's no photographic evidence. So did they actually exist, or we've been bullshitting you this whole
time? Were they really there?
Did it really happen?
Either way.
Was the weed really that good?
The
music was, and it was all united under like metalheads.
Yep.
Listening to
United we stand.
So 40 years later,
right?
Gotta love it, man.
Bunch of friendships. But anyway, so we're gonna call it, and we will see you next time. And don't forget to check out Tunage every Friday. And we'll see you soon.
Jason,
Glenn?
Great to meet you, man.
You too, brother. I'll see you next time.
All right, sounds good, man.
Love you, brother. Love you,
Love you, buddy.
Love you, man.
Have a good
Later.
Oh, wrong.